everybody, this is Diana from Sew Very Crafty, and today we are going to make these super simple beginner ear warmers. They are just so simple. This video is going to be done in a flash. It is such a simple project. I looked high and low for a pattern for this project and ended up drafting my own. So I've been through several iterations of this project before I came up with one that I thought was going to work for me. And I finally did. I went through several different practice runs on this project before I came up with this one, and I think it came out pretty good. So I'm going to share it with you today. Since the weather's starting to get a little cold, maybe not so cold here in California, but maybe where you are, it is getting cold, and these ear warmers could really come in handy for you. So I hope you enjoy this project today. If you do, as usual, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, ding that bell for notifications, and get more sewing and crafting tutorials videos in your inbox so that you know when we come up with new ones. So this project today is super simple, so let's get started. The first thing that we are going to need is this pattern, and I am going to put this pattern in the description section of the video. It's a free pattern, as all of my patterns are on Sew Very Crafty, and you just need to cut it out. You'll notice that there is a fold line on one end of the pattern, and that is that you have to cut this end on the fold. Now, I have used fleece fabric for my project today, and I've used two different colors. I've used a pattern, they're basically the same color, but I've used a pattern for one and a solid for the other, so it makes it reversible, which is really nice. And I have cut each on the fold. So you'll see I've cut my pattern out, and I placed one end on the fold so that when I open it up, it looks like this. And I have two pieces that look just exactly the same. So for our first step, we are going to place these two pieces right on top of each other, because on fleece, it doesn't matter. There's no really wrong side or right side of fleece. If you're using some fabrics that do have a wrong side or right side, you're going to want to place these right sides together. But for now, I'm just going to place these together because there's no wrong or right sides. And I'm going to stitch all along the bottom here and all along the top, and I'm going to leave these ends open. In fact, I'm going to start about 1 inch from each end. So I'm going to start 1 inch in on one end and finish 1 inch in on both ends, so I have kind of a floppy end. And you'll see why that's important when we move on to our next step. So let's head over to the sewing machine and let's stitch along the bottom line and on the top line and move on from there. So here we are, and we are just going to stitch the top and the bottom of our warmer, starting about 1 inch down from the top, or the end actually, of our warmer. we're just going to finish 1 inch from the end. And I've already done the bottom. Okay, so now we have done that, and now all we are going to do is turn this right sides out. And this is a pretty simple process. Just stuff it through there, turn it right sides out. Now you can see that we have our project right sides out, and you can see we have our ear flaps here, but we still have these raw edges. This is where the 1 inch opening is important on each end, because we are going to turn this and we're going to place our lining pieces right sides together. Now it matters what the right side is. And we're going to stitch right across here using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And I've used a 1/4 inch seam allowance for all of this. I'm going to head over to the sewing machine and do both the outer and the lining. So let's head over to the sewing machine and let's take care of that. Now I'm going to stitch our lining first, and that's important, right sides together using our 1/4 inch seam. Now here's the tricky part, is we are going to twist our outer fabrics so that they are now right sides together. Just like that. And it does look a little twisty, but we want to make sure that these are right sides together. And then we're going to stitch those. And once we stitch those, we're going to move on to our next step. And now we just pull it taut, and you can see that we have nice seams on both sides of our ear warmer, but we have openings inside. And we're going to move over to the workstation and finish up this project, and I'll show you how to close those up. Okay, so now we are back at the workstation, and you can see that there is an opening on both sides of our ear warmer where our 1 inch was that we left when we opened up our ear warmers, or when we started at the beginning. So what I'm going to do is I am going to just put a clip here to close that up, and I'm going to go to the other side, and I'm going to fold under this seam so that it looks like it's not even there. And our ear warmer is basically done. Now we are going to take a needle and thread, and we are going to close these openings using ladder stitch. And ladder stitch is very easy to do. We're going to start by putting our needle the opposite direction of where we're going to go so we can embed these tails inside our seam. We're going to run our needle through the fold of the seam because it won't be seen, directly across to the other fold of the seam, and down the fold, again directly across, down the fold, and what you will notice is you're creating what looks like a ladder, and when you pull the stitches, you won't be able to see them. So I'm just going to finish this up using my ladder stitch. Now it's hard to see this blue thread on this blue ear warmer, but there are loads and loads of videos on YouTube on how to do ladder stitch. It's very, very simple, and it looks fantastic when it's done because you cannot even see the seam at all where you stitched the ladder stitch. It looks just like you had stitched it with a machine. And that's all there is, and as you can see, you can't even see those stitches where I've done my ladder stitch. And now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, but I'm not going to do it for the video. And we have finished our ear warmers. Now, you have an option here to top stitch all the way around this. If you don't want to use ladder stitch, you can just top stitch all the way around your ear warmers. But I tried that in my many iterations of this project, and quite frankly, I did not like the look. I thought it looked much better without the top stitching, which is why I suggest to do ladder stitch rather than the top stitching. But it's completely up to you. You can top stitch and avoid the ladder stitch, or I would just use the ladder stitch. It only takes a few minutes extra to do, and it comes out just like this, just fantastic, and it works great. That's it for this project today. So simple, just a few stitches on your machine, and you have finished this project. You can make loads of them, give them as gifts. They're perfect stocking stuffers for Christmas. Just make them in a flash. Again, I hope you enjoyed this project today, and if you did, thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, ding that bell for notifications, and if you want more sewing and crafting tutorials that are not here on the YouTube channel, head over to the website at www.sewverycrafty.com for tons more sewing and crafting tutorials that you won't find here. Some that are a lot more complicated and maybe more to those intermediate sewists than what you find here on the YouTube channel. But for today, we have ear warmers, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time. Bye!